Hi, I'm Roberta Gonzalez, and welcome to this week's edition of Where's Roberta? Grab your passport. We're taking you for a ride to my favorite international city. It's the Eternal City. It's the city of love. We are taking you to Rome, the capital of Italy. In fact, let's kickstart this show with the Roman Colosseum, which is turning almost 2,000 years old.
The history of ancient Rome begins on the banks of the Tiber River. It is written, Rome was founded on April 21st, 753 BC, which is pretty difficult for me to wrap my head around. For those needing a refresher course in European geography, here is Rome and here is the Tiber River. 140 miles south is Naples. 565 miles at the toe of the boot is Sicily.
Ouch! Just stubbed it. Ow!
That is short north, train right away is Venice at 328 miles. And if you're visiting one country in Tuscany or in Florence, it's only a 170-mile car ride away. The Roman Colosseum, it holds a very special place in my heart. It was over a decade ago when I ran the Rome Marathon, starting and finishing at the Roman Colosseum. My life really was forever changed. This immense amphitheater with its awesome, imposing skeleton remains still allows us to imagine and admire its ancient splendor and its horror, which began in 72 AD and was completed 8 years later. Can you imagine? It was built by Jewish prisoners. My tour guide, Danella, she breaks it down like this.
The mother of all stadiums, the Colosseum, is an inspiration that we've copied and should copy more often. When you think about the average stadium in the United States, it's got 4, 8, 12 entrances, max, perhaps 20. When you consider the Colosseum's design, what you'll see is that each one of these gates was an entrance. There were over 70 gates. From a spectator's viewpoint, this was far more user-friendly than anything we do today.
Its true name is the Flavian Amphitheater, but we simply know it as the Colosseum. It once seated up to 80,000 spectators. Now that's larger than Levi or Oakland Stadium.
Where's Mount Davis?
Although entry was free, spectators were given assigned seating depending on social position in the community. How about that? So Brian, you take the back row. For example, the first 17 rows of the podium were reserved for the imperial section. These were the ones who judged the fate of the fighters.
Do you see that crucifix across the stadium? That was once the imperial box. That's where the nobles sat, or the royals, and they were the ones in complete judgment of the gladiator fights. A gladiator was a professional fighter who was slated to fight against a condemned prisoner. Now, when fighting with the condemned prisoner, if the imperial box said, that meant that they were spared. If it went like this, well, you're going to die.
You know, you should take your next selfie like that, pointing towards you.
You think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should have said it a little bit kinder. The horrid games of gladiator fighting with men and animals eventually ended in the 5th century.
At times, gladiators would be pitted against criminals, prisoners of war, hostages. Those were blood sports that in part emptied prisons, in part improved national morale, because those events were often in costume and became historical reenactments.
When touring the Colosseum, you will notice a lot of dead space.
See this behind me here? It looks like an empty space. Well, back in the gladiator days, this was a concession stand. They would sell pistachio, almonds, water, and even beer.
They invent back-ending. The games are free, but when you've got 50 to 80,000 captive spectators, it means you've got sales. And if you've got sales, it means you're making money. Back-ending is something we think we invented. And yet here we are almost 2,000 years ago at a stadium where the government understood the power and importance of back-ending.
Local efforts are trying to preserve the Colosseum's glorious history, but there is a real fear a modern-day earthquake will completely demolish this over 2,000-year landmark. Now, if that does happen, think about this. It will create new folklore to this astonishing and splendorous monument. When we come back, a restaurant with its own history dating back over 100 years. And here's a road go fact for you. Traveling to Rome, you can order euros at your bank a couple of days ahead of time. €1 equals about $1.17 American.
That's a good thing.
Actually, it's advantage Romans. And here's one more thing for you. It is never necessary to tip, but it is always appreciated.
What's 20% of $1.17?
Take off your shoes and count your toes. We'll be right back.
I have flip-flops on.
With new airlines and a growing list of destinations, you can now fly from Oakland International Airport to more places than ever before. Here's our pick for Destination of the Month.
Cleared for takeoff.
Norwegian, the world's most awarded long-haul, low-cost airline, offers nonstop flights on brand-new planes from Oakland to Rome, the Eternal City, one of Europe's most vibrant capitals in a vast archaeological playground dating back more than 2,500 years. Norwegian, nonstop from Oakland to many major European cities. Book a low fare now at norwegian.com. Oakland International Airport. New international facilities now open at the Bay Area's close-in, convenient, and reliable airport. Book a seat today at norwegian.com.
Cleared for takeoff.
Immerse in the core of Rome and in the history of the Colosseum, travel back into time, deep into a cool, carved cave which fills underground, and there you'll find this eclectic restaurant with a dinner show. Deep into this dwelling we find
Mr. Massimo De Rose,
and
Mr. Sandro Saccoxio.
thank you, my pronunciation app, managers of the restaurant, and also the nightly dinner shows. Okay, well, that's spirited and certainly lively, but let's talk about the food. In Rome, it is certainly tradition to eat all the lovely pasta, bruschetta,
Bruschetta. It's a little bit different, but bruschetta, it's okay.
then you eat your salad last. How about that? The theory is this is good for your digestive system. Now, I'm not sure about that, but what I do know is I usually eat to fuel myself. But in Italy, you eat to socialize, to converse, to break bread together, and be happy.
Have you been to San Francisco?
I love Frisco. I love it. It's a fantastic place. The people there are very quiet and very, very lovely. Fantastici. You can imagine there are the roads where there is a crossroads. The people stop and say, "Go ahead, go ahead." Yeah, like here, like in Rome, the same.
I need to find those people.
And while we continue to talk and get to know each other, other people chew on this.
Tell me about your meal. Has it been fantastic today?
Yes,
Yeah, what'd you order?
lasagna and a salad.
And what'd you like about it?
I like the sauce on the salad, and on the lasagna, I like the sauce. I like
It's been fantastic. And today we're in Rome, and we've seen some of the sights in Peter's Basilica, and we're off to the Colosseum, so we just stopped for a quick lunch, and it was fantastic.
The restaurant is very, very old, and we are talking about 1060. Yes.
You're kidding.
And every walls are original, and we work with groups, and in the evening we have dinner and show, very famous.
Dancing groups, a dinner show, fresh food, an American favorite. Le Terme de Colossia, a hidden jewel, a must-find in Rome. Time to head back to our hotel for a bit of R&R before heading out to explore nightlife in Rome. Our hotel, Atlant Star, is absolutely perfect. A wonderful location for walking to the Vatican or visiting one of any restaurants in our area. What I enjoyed most about our hotel during the height of tourism season comes the 90 to 100 degree weather in the summer months. No, that's wrong. I don't like the 100 degree weather, but what I like is as a European hotel, we had air conditioning, and that is a real treat in Europe. Secondly, you cannot beat this view. Wow. Also special about the Atlant Star Hotel in Europe, well, get this, rooms are usually small for us in American terms, but not here. These rooms are generous and relatively quiet, blocking out the hustle and bustle of nearly 3 million people in the city. Oh, I forgot to remind you, whenever traveling to Europe, Mexico, or Hawaii out of Oakland International Airport, you receive 5 days of free parking. How about that? Visit them online for more information. Also, you have entrance to the Norwegian lounge while waiting for your flight.
We work very hard to provide the necessities that everyone is looking for in a common use lounge. And we actually have a partnership with a local chef by the name of Chris Pestina, and he creates some of the entrees, some of the things that we have on our buffet.
A little food, libation, and step onto the Dreamliner with the best pilots around.
I really like Auckland and the surroundings. I'm a musician in my spare time, so usually I'm hanging out in the Oakland Guitar Center, and on my bucket list is going to the valley and explore a little bit further.
Is he going to sing on the flight today?
Well, I hope so. I didn't know about that. Unluckily, I don't see any guitar here, but I hope he will one day.
You're lucky.
By the way, the number one option for pilots flying in and out of Leonardo da Vinci Rome Airport is the Hilton Rome Airport.
This is one of the biggest airport hotels in Italy. We have more than 500 rooms. We can offer the services to the individual travelers, but even for groups and for meetings and events, because we have a large congress center as well.
So I'm a Hilton Honors
Good
client,
for you.
and I do like that whole idea that I can be in the airport in 10 minutes. Now, do people ever just come and book and stay at your hotel and spend their whole day in Rome? Because it's not that far. It was, what, a 30-minute drive?
Yes, it's 30 minutes, and we have a free shuttle bus service connecting 8 times a day. From 8 o'clock in the morning, last ride from city center is 11 p.m. So you can spend all day long in the eternal city.
And yes, we're going to do more of that when we come back.
I used to have more hair. I used to have more color. And I used to have cancer. I beat it. I did. Not alone. I used to have no idea what the American Cancer Society did. Research, yeah, but also free rides to chemo and free lodging near hospitals. I used to maybe give a little, then I got so much back. I used to have cancer.
Please give at cancer.org.
Welcome back to Where's Roberta from Rome. The Vatican. The Vatican is an independent state called Vatican City since 1929. When you visit the Vatican, you don't knock on the Pope's door. I mean, really, that's his home. But you visit the Vatican Museums, which was established back in 1506. There are 54 different galleries, and you segue from one to another, featuring an immense collection from each pope and their contribution, including classical sculptures, artwork, and tapestry. There are nearly 70,000 works with nearly 6 million people visiting to take in the wonders just last year alone.
6 million people? That's like almost the whole Bay Area.
Wow. I mean, that really is incredible. You are so spot on. Individual tickets can range from $32 to $163, depending if you want general admission or a private early morning tour. Recommended is the general admission and rent a headset for about $10 for a verbal solo experience. I enjoyed the sculptures. Sometimes two heads are better than one. What I found remarkable was the sculptures and learning more about the artists. Think about this possibility. There is no such thing as an original idea, but rather a creative twist to that original idea.
What the heck are you saying?
Why can't I start again?
Did you write that? What? I'm reminded, as my grandma used to ask,
Huh? Keep in mind that this is an exquisite work of ancient Roman art. Roman art, as the Roman Empire collapses, will turn into Christian art. Christian art puts an emphasis on the lack of volume and the spirituality. Michelangelo breaks with this tradition, creating a Renaissance style where he's rebirthing classical values, classical art. And in fact, he'll photocopy the Apollo to a certain extent, and the photocopy will show up in one of his more famous sculptures, the David.
And while we glided from one museum to another, what struck me the most as we headed towards the Sistine Chapel is this.
We knew he was an amazing painter. We knew he was a talented sculptor. We knew he was a designer. But did you ever know that Michelangelo was also an architect? He designed St. Peter's Dome. That man was a Renaissance man.
The Sistine Chapel is the last museum on the tour and one of the largest museums in the world, featuring the paintings of Michelangelo. And while it is stunning, mind-provoking, and miraculous, be prepared for rigid rules. There's no talking while viewing and no pictures in the Sistine Chapel, making it a bit difficult to share its glory on this program. You must have shoulders covered and skirts below your knees. No backpacks.
What is your favorite thing so far about Rome?
I think today the Vatican, there were so many things that I saw, and I didn't even elaborate what I've seen today, and I have to really, tomorrow or tonight I will see the photos and I will see, oh my God, what did I see? So many things. I think today this was the highlight so far, yeah.
There's so much to see and absorb at the Vatican museums, it can be a little overwhelming at times to take it all in one day, but for others, it's just all that.
I think it was very historic and I liked it a lot. And what I like the most is the Sistine Chapel.
Is this your first time or have you been here before?
I've been here before, but I was too little and I didn't remember anything. Now I like a lot of the things I see. I have seen it in history class, so I understand the most of it. And yeah, it's better to see it with the age I have now.
On to St. Peter's Basilica. St. Peter's Basilica is the greatest church in Christendom. It is a tourist attraction as well as a place to worship, very similar to St. Patrick's in New York City. This is the church you see the Pope as he addresses midnight Christmas Eve Mass on television, as well as Easter celebration. I visited the sacred St. Gregory the Great and kneeled at the altar to pay homage. St. Peter's is regarded as one of the holiest Catholic shrines.
We're now standing at St. Peter's Basilica. This has been on my bucket list. This beautiful, beautiful church created in the early 1500s.
Absolutely.
Tell me about this church. It's still a working church, right?
In fact, if you look, there are several fathers who've just walked in.
Oh.
Good timing on their part. Oh, it is, not to mix metaphors, the Mecca of Catholicism. So it gets both enormous amounts of pilgrims and tourists.
Well, I was moved and in all honesty, wished my mom and dad were alive to share this experience with me. It was certainly humbling. It's an individual experience for all.
Tell me about these gorgeous statues. These historical statues.
Which of these gorgeous statues?
Yeah. Well, what about Michelangelo's?
Great. We saw the Pietà, a total masterpiece that Michelangelo conceived when he's 23 years old. He's hired by two French cardinals who want a deal. So they choose a no-name artist, Michelangelo, the 23-year-old. They get a deal. He gets to get a statue in St. Peter's. His work is absolutely gorgeous. It represents Mother Mary holding Christ, and it is an amazing emotional content.
Whether you're religious or just curious, St. Peter's Basilica is an appreciation of art, paintings, sculptures, faith, and love. Up next, Yes, a visit to the most famous fountain in the world.
Lizzie Fountain in Livermore.
I was thinking of a different fountain.
Oh, okay.
And speaking of the Trevi Fountain, not the Livermore Fountain, how much money an American is collected daily from tourists tossing coins into the fountain? Well, the answer, as Where's Roberta from Rome, returns.
I just finished months of chemo, but I don't want to talk about months. I want to talk about years. Treatments have gotten better, so I'm hoping for good years ahead. That's thanks to research funded by the American Cancer Society. The same folks giving me free rides to treatments, insurance advice, and a place to stay during chemo. I need that stuff like you don't know. And now that you do, please give at cancer.org.
How much money an American is collected daily from tourists tossing coins into the Trevi Fountain? If you chose C, $3,000, you are correct. How about that? Actually, it is 3,000 euros, which is $3,500 an American. And the big question is, why do people toss coins into the Trevi Fountain?
It's really pretty. It got famous, and there's also this myth about throwing a coin. So I think that's a really touristic thing, what people love.
Well, in other words, it is believed tourists toss coins as a wish to return to Rome. The Trevi Fountain is the largest fountain in Rome and one of the most famous in the entire world. But there's a lot more to the fountain than the eye beholds.
The guy in the center, it's Neptune, the god of the sea, because it was on a source of natural water, so he stands for water. And the two little guys, they are tritons, which are young sea gods. And the horses, one is like quiet and the one is being wild. So that's actually standing for the two faces of the ocean, being like sometimes quiet and sometimes really wild.
A stone throw away is the Hotel Bernini, Bristol. This is where I found one of the happiest chefs I have ever met. Meet Chef Andrea Fusco and sous chef Alessandro Caputo, and he's along to help with the translation. We are at the prestigious Giuda Ballerino restaurant in the hotel.
How many years does it take of learning how to cook before I get to wear a big hat like that?
Quanti anni ci vogliono prima di avere un cappello alto tipo questo?
Ma diciamo 7-8 minimo.
Let's say 7, 8.
Oh,
minimum.
I was going to ask if we just change hats tonight. No?
Oh, yes.
It looks so much better on you. Okay, wait.
Facciamo? Ale.
Okay, we get to Hey, salud! You look good. Debbie looks good. He looks really good.
Celebrity chef Andrea Fusco and his restaurant Giuda Ballerino are located on one of the most beautiful terraces in Rome. And with his favorite signature mussel pasta dish,
Oh, that smells so good.
we asked our associate producer Norma Witt to give us her best review.
It's cheesy, it's creamy, it's cooked the way I like it. It's delicious.
Not only is Rome known for its delicious food, historical statues, but its shopping.
Surely you've heard of Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, or how about Union Square in San Francisco? This is Via del Condotte. It is the highest end shopping in all of Rome, Italy.
And after working up a bit of a sweat shopping, how about cooling down?
Behind me here you see Barcaccia. It was created beginning in 1626 to 1629 by Bernini. Behind it, the famous historical Spanish steps, all 135 of them. So here we are in Rome, and this is considered the most important shopping district in the entire...
Not again.
Oh my goodness! Okay, wait, first of all.
We have to see you.
Come on over. What was that?
From how many times we have to see from Oakland to here? Like, this is
What
the
a
third
small
time.
world.
I ran into these lovely people at the Oakland International Airport. Then again, where?
The Colosseum.
At the Colosseum. And first of all, what is your name?
My name's Kevin.
And?
Seppi.
And where are you from?
Oakland.
Oakland.
Oakland, California.
And honestly, what is the best way to fly out of the Bay Area?
Norwegian to Rome.
In fact, when it's time to fly back home from Rome to Oakland International Airport, Norwegian Air has set up something special just for you, and it's called the Red Lane.
You have a straightforward path through passport control, security and then passport control. So it's like a short way to go
Like a
inside.
shortcut
Yes.
around everybody.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. So we just check in, we come on like this fast track, and then we
Yes.
go through passport, and we just go shopping and get to eat and go on our plane, our Norwegian flight.
Correct.
Marco Gobi Kraft works at the Leonardo da Vinci Airport and is very proud of the new addition since 2016.
This is our original statue from the Roman era, so they are nearly 2,000 years old, and we found them here nearby to the airport next to the seaside. So the point was to refurbish them and to put here in the airport because we want to show up our culture and to make people still feel they are in downtown Rome before leaving back to home. We became a 4-star airport for Skytrax and also ranked as best improved airport in the world by Skytrax quality. And the ACI, the Airport Council International, awarded us as the best airport in 2018.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you could take a bow for that.
Oh, one last stop before you hit the airport. Of course, it's to eat.
Guide francesi, questo non interessa, eh?
Okay, let me see if I got this right. This is how good my Italian is, okay? So, this restaurant, Cantina Cantarine, opened up at first in this neighborhood in 1903, and people would come and they would bring their own food, but they would enjoy the wine here. Is that correct?
Is that correct? Perfect, Roberta.
And today, not only is this century-old restaurant known for its local tasty wines, but also its wonderful historic cuisine. Our scrumptious dinner with cherished new friends is done. Arrivederci.
Grazie, grazie. Well, that does it for this week's edition of Where's Roberta from Rome, the capital of Italy, which is a sprawling cosmopolitan city with nearly 3,000 years of art, architecture, and culture. It really has been an amazing, blessed opportunity to be here, and I hope you enjoyed our trip to Europe. Until our next show, everyone, take care of one another and ciao.